I never thought resigning from a job would feel like breaking a heart. But here I was, staring at my resignation letter like it was a confession of sin. The envelope trembled slightly in my hands, not because of fear of the consequences, but because of him, Ethan. My boss, my tormentor, my unexpected obsession. He caught me before I could slide it into the interoffice mailbox. Of course, he caught me. Ethan had the uncanny ability to appear exactly where I didn't want him to be, yet somehow I wanted him there too. His sharp navy suit was impeccable, his tie perfectly straight, and that smirk, the one that usually made me bristle today, it unnervingly softened his face, making his intense green eyes seem almost gentle. Almost. Thinking of quitting, huh? His voice was calm, but each word carried an unspoken weight, as if he could read not just my thoughts but my heart. I tried to pull my hand away, but my fingers lingered on the envelope. Yeah, I need a change. My voice sounded hollow even to me. He stepped closer, so close that I could feel the faint scent of his colonesciter wood and something warmer, something dangerously inviting. You know I can't let that happen, he said. The statement was simple, but it reverberated through me like a command I was both terrified of and secretly thrilled to obey. I blinked. You can't. You mean, you won't? He raised a perfectly sculpted brow. I mean I won't. Not because I'm selfish, but because I see you differently now. Differently. That single word sent a shiver down my spine. I wanted to laugh at the absurdity, but instead, I felt my heart hammering. A mix of fear and anticipation I couldn't name. You see me differently? I whispered, almost afraid of the answer. Yes. His eyes darkened in a way that made me dizzy. And maybe I've been waiting for you to notice it too. The rooftop behind the office building offered a breathtaking view of the city streets lined with the glow of neon signs, cars streaming like liquid fire, and the distant hum of life moving on without us. But up here, the world narrowed to just the two of us. Every unspoken word, every glance, every hesitant step between us charged the air like static electricity. I wanted to pull back, to retreat to safety, but my body betrayed me. I leaned forward, caught in the gravity of him. Ethan's hand brushed against mine, just a casual, accidental touch, but it was enough to ignite a spark that had been smoldering for months. You're reckless, he murmured, his voice low, almost a growl. Trying to leave when you've barely started to understand. He didn't finish, but the sentence hung between us, heavy with possibilities. I swallowed hard, my heart flipping. Understand what? I asked, though part of me already knew the answer. Him. I needed to understand him. I needed to understand this strange, twisted pull that had nothing to do with work and everything to do with him. Ethan leaned closer, and I felt the heat radiate from his body, filling the space between us. I need you, he confessed in a whisper. The words so raw, so vulnerable, they made my chest ache. And suddenly all the reasons I had for leaving, the stress, the long hours, the endless meetings, seemed meaningless. Nothing mattered but the man in front of me, the way his eyes burned with an intensity that scared and thrilled me in equal measure. I laughed, a short, nervous sound. You can't just say that and expect me to stay. He smirked, that smirk that made my stomach twist. Try me. The wind picked up, tousling his dark hair and fluttering the papers in my hand. He reached out, brushing the resignation letter from my fingers with the gentlest touch. My heart stopped. You're not allowed to leave, he said softly, almost pleadingly, his green eyes shimmering in the sunset light, and for the first time I realized that I didn't want to leave. We stood there for a long moment, the city sprawling endlessly beneath us, two hearts beating in sync against the backdrop of a world that didn't yet understand us. There was tension, yes, but also an undeniable tenderness, a fragile intimacy that made every breath between us feel sacred. I guess, maybe this is just the beginning, I said quietly, letting the words float into the evening air. Maybe, he agreed, his fingers brushing mine again, this time deliberately. But sometimes, the beginning is the hardest part. And as the sun dipped lower, casting gold and pink across the skyline, I knew that my life and my heart had changed forever. The days that followed were a delicate dance of tension and closeness. Ethan didn't let me quit, but he also didn't smother me, at least not entirely. He gave me just enough space to breathe, but never enough to escape the magnetic pull between us. Our interactions became charged with subtle signals, lingering glances across the office, fingers brushing while passing files, shared jokes that carried a secret weight only we understood. Every time I felt the urge to flee, he appeared, always knowing, always there, like gravity itself was conspiring to keep us close. One evening, he invited me to the rooftop again. The city lights were beginning to twinkle as the sun gave way to twilight, painting the sky with streaks of violet and orange. I hesitated at first, caught between wanting to run and wanting to see him, but something inside me leaned towards staying. "You came," he said softly, leaning against the railing, his expression both relieved and playful. "I couldn't not," I admitted, "even if I wanted to." He chuckled, and it was the most beautiful sound, warm and genuine. "I like that honesty," he said, "and I like that you're staying. Not because I asked, but because you chose it." I took a step closer, my heart hammering. "It's complicated. Life is complicated," he replied, his gaze softening as he looked down at me. "But some things, some people, they make it worth the complication." The air between us was electric, yet gently a balance of longing and tenderness. He reached out and took my hand, and I didn't pull away. Instead, I let him hold it, feeling the strength and warmth of him seep into me. "Ethan," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Yes," he said, leaning closer, his breath brushing my ear. "Say it." I faltered, searching for the right words. I think I don't want to go anywhere without you." His green eyes softened, filled with a vulnerability I hadn't seen before. "Then don't," he said simply. "Stay. Stay with me. Not because of the job, not because it's convenient, but because we're this." He cupped my face gently, his thumb brushing over my cheek. The touch was electric, sending shivers down my spine. "I've wanted this, wanted you, for a long time," he admitted, his voice low and intimate. "And I don't want to waste another day pretending otherwise." Something inside me finally gave way. All the fear, all the hesitation, melted in the warmth of his words. I leaned in, closing the space between us, and our lips met softly at first, almost tentative, then with a depth and urgency that had been building for months. It was a kiss that spoke of restraint and longing, of frustration and surrender, of two hearts finally finding each other in the chaos of life. When we finally pulled away, we were both breathless, our foreheads resting together. "You're insane," I murmured, though it came out as a laugh more than an accusation. He grinned, his fingers still intertwined with mine. "Maybe, but you like it." "I do," I admitted, feeling a rush of happiness and relief. "I really do." From that night on, everything shifted. The office still existed, and work still demanded our attention, but our relationship became a quiet sanctuary in the middle of the storm. We learned each other's rhythms, when to push, when to hold, when to speak, when to remain silent. The tension that once made every interaction a battlefield became the spark that kept our connection alive. We shared late-night coffees on the rooftop, conversations stretching into the early hours of the morning. Sometimes we didn't speak at all, simply enjoying the comfort of being near each other, letting the city's glow be our witness. Every laugh, every shared glance, every gentle touch deepened the bond between us. One rainy afternoon, after a particularly stressful week, Ethan found me sitting at my desk, staring blankly at my screen. He didn't say a word, never needed to. He simply came over, slid into the chair beside me, and draped an arm over my shoulders. I leaned into him, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't known I could feel at work. "You're not alone," he murmured. "Ever." That simple statement carried more weight than any motivational speech or corporate pep talk ever could. And in that moment, I realized that leaving my job had never been the point. The point was finding someone who made life bearable, even beautiful, amidst the stress and chaos. and I had found him. Weeks turned into months, and our bond only grew stronger. We celebrated small victories, supported each other through challenges, and discovered joy in the simplest moments: coffee runs, shared playlists, quiet rooftop sunsets. The city below us moved at its frenetic pace, but up there, above it all, we had carved out a world that was ours alone. One evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Ethan turned to me with a serious expression. "I don't want to imagine my life without you," he said. "You don't have to," I replied, smiling, my hand finding his. "Because you won't." He smiled, pulling me into a tight embrace. The tension of months melted away, replaced by a profound sense of belonging and love. I rested my head against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, feeling the security and warmth that had become my anchor. "I think," he whispered into my hair, "we're finally where we're meant to be." "Yes," I breathed, closing my eyes. "Finally." And as the lights of the city flickered on, one by one, casting a soft glow across the rooftops, I knew that life had changed in ways I had never anticipated. What had begun as tension, confusion, and unspoken longing had blossomed into a love that was patient, gentle, and true. No more resignation letters, no more running, no more doubts. Only us, together navigating life, love, and the quiet magic of being exactly where we belonged. For the first time in a long while, I felt completely, utterly, and irrevocably home. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.